There we go. Now we're live. Greetings and salutations. My name is Sly Sparkane.
My name is not.
And his name is not Sly Sparkane. Oops, wait a minute. Are you playing or am I playing? I'm playing.
You're playing.
Damn. Yeah, I'm hearing the echo here. Hold on a second. Bam, like that. Okay, so drop that out of the way. I got so many damn windows open right now. It's unbelievable. So this is a quick little response. Well, it's probably not going to be quick, but this is a response to Jeranism's little rant that he did on his channel, or on his other channel, his other channel, about how I'm, well, I mean, I'm not going to say that he said that I'm full of shit, but that's basically the moral of his entire story. And but he doesn't back it up with anything. But let me first get this out. Quick little public service announcement. Red is currently in the process of moving out of Florida, and he's tired of hurricanes. But apparently somebody came by him and said that that Bro Sanchez, another person with like 25 damn channels, had said that his had said that his ISS photos were faked, and which I thought was pretty funny. But now I went looking for this comment because you know, I wanted to help out. Right now, Red does not have a computer available because, again, he's moving. But he doesn't have a computer available at this moment. But if anybody could do me a favor, if they heard it or know anything about it or anything like that, please point it out.
I've actually seen that comment around. I don't remember if it was from Bro Sanchez, but it's been said in several different locations. I'll see if I can find one.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just worried about where it was actually said, not necessarily the comments from individuals, unless it's Bro Sanchez, of course, himself, but just to back that claim. And if it is true, then I am supposed to pass along this message. I'm kind of improvising. These aren't his exact words, but you can pretty much imagine that Red said, anytime, anywhere, if you want to talk about your claim that his photos are faked, then put up or shut up. And that's to Bro Sanchez. So, and that's from Red. And he is ready to do that anytime, except for right now he is currently without computer, but I'm sure he could probably even do it on his phone. So anyway, that was the end of the public service announcement. So if anybody knows about that, hey, you know, please let somebody know. Send me a message on my channel or something like that, and I will justify that back to Red. So I'm sure some of you excuse me, feeling a little bit of a cold. I'm sure some of you saw this video. This is the video that Jeranism put out last night? No, 2 days ago now. And I'll admit I didn't watch the first bits of it because, you know, it looks like just more bullshit. But basically, obviously, Jeranism is on the whole, the sun is refraction through a lens, which is the atmosphere, which is somehow...
Yeah. I've actually...
I really just don't even know where to go with that, because if you're going to say that the sun is refracting the light as a lens, meaning offsetting it, which I do admit, the sun does have, or the atmosphere does have refractive properties, but you are standing in the atmosphere.
Well, the big problem with his little... I've actually made it 27 minutes and 47 seconds into this video so far.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. The big problem with his experiment... the big problem with his experiment is his dome is more of a torus. It's not a dome. It's because the way the light is going, it's going to hit... The center of the dome is going to be between the apparent position of the sun and the actual position of the sun.
Right.
Which means dome is literally directly over the top of the dome is directly over somebody who's in Australia.
Over Australia.
That's the only way his experiment works.
Right. So this would be a good example of a monocentric observation.
So that it just totally destroys the top of the dome is over the North Pole claim.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no longer a dome; it is a donut sitting on top of the Earth, as far as the atmosphere is concerned.
Interesting.
And that's the only way his little half sphere refraction works.
I think it was Morgile in one of the Globebuster things that said that, I might be wrong. It might not have been Morgile, but I think it was him that said that everybody had their own personal dome, basically.
Oh my goodness!
You know, which I thought was funny as hell.
So if I walk 14 feet to the left, you know, somebody like 3,000 miles away from me can be hit by my dome.
Well, nobody ever said it was physical, man. Why you gotta be so rough, man?
Well, I've heard about personal bubbles and all that, but that's a little extreme.
Man, that's straight Matrix right there. But isn't it funny? They think that reality is Hollywood, but they believe Hollywood stories.
Yeah.
Think about that. But anyway, so among the different claims that he made in here, and it's funny, he said my name enough times in different videos, but let's see, where was it here?
Well, now he's saying he doesn't want to say your name, and there's a very good reason for that, because he doesn't want people going to your videos and seeing that you actually gave them an experiment for flat earthers to try.
Well, that's funny. He puts my big red emblem up on his screen, so but so he calls me Sparkle or Spargle or something, like some weird shit and all this. Jeran, look, I don't stoop to the name calling. I don't call you Jism like a lot of people do. Okay, don't be a child, man. I mean, I realize you have nothing to say, so therefore the only thing you can hope to do is get me with discrediting in a schoolyard fashion. Don't do that, man, because then I just lose respect for your attempts, at least. And what do you call it? I mean, I try and keep things at a somewhat civil level. Yes, I did go off on you one time, and that was because of the fact you decided to put me. You stated that I worship and adore pedophiles. And I'm sorry, I got kids. That word actually means something to me. But when you say to me that I worship and adore baby-eating demons, well, since baby-eating demons don't exactly exist, I can laugh that off. You understand what I'm saying? So, but anyway, first thing that he wanted to show, and he's also talking about Dr. Zach, and well, he didn't talk about Dr. Zach, but he's using the reference of the refraction experiment that Dr. Zach poorly executed, and which is to say that the shadows that he measured on his table were correct. However, all the lens did was reposition where the light source was by blocking out the rest of it. And all those shadows basically matched up perfectly when you use the right length of the nails. All those shadows matched up perfectly to the location of the lens. So here's the thing, man. If there is a lens in the sky, okay, you have to say where that lens is. And here's the joke. The Eratosthenes experiment that we just did with the 23 participants, which everybody hates and Globebusters is afraid to do, that would have pointed all to the same, they would have all pointed to the same space. The exact same place they would have all pointed to. It just would not have matched the measurements that would have been required on the ground as far as the distance of the surface distance away from the sun. Okay, and therefore it would have made the sun appear like it was lower in altitude. That's all it would have done. All of the lines would have matched up. They just wouldn't have matched up as high. But since none of the lines matched up, now Jeran wanted to say, Jeran wanted to say that I was trying to show that it's impossible, or no, excuse me, that I said it's impossible on a flat Earth. No, you see, the purpose in doing research and actually putting these numbers to paper, actually putting these angles to paper, actually showing what the results are. It doesn't. I'm not trying to. How can I say this? I'm not there to disprove flat Earth just to disprove flat Earth. Okay, I am there to display that it does not conclude a flat Earth. Okay, all of those angles. Now, mind you, I cut straight to the chase and went straight to globe after that. Of course I did. Okay, because that's the beginning and the end. Okay, but showing it on the flat plane, which you recreated, okay, showing it on a flat plane directly shows that it does not function in any way, shape, or form on a flat plane. It just doesn't. Okay, that's what you do with research, is you do experimentation, honest experimentation, mind you. You do experimentation, and then you go where the conclusions, where the facts take you. Okay, you don't go there trying to prove that the Earth is flat. I don't go to try and prove that the Earth is round. Okay, I go out and do the experiments and see what they concur with.
I got to stop you there, because his experiment that he's working on doing, that he still hasn't produced any results for on his road. Yeah. Now he's changed the experiment up because he wants to reach his conclusion, but he has to figure out a way to make it work. You know, he started off saying that he's going to get 7 poles, put them inside of pails, and stick them straight up, and then drill a hole where a laser beam shines from the point of origin to the final target. Right. And he would measure where that hole is on all the poles. He started with 7 poles. He dropped it down to 3, which is actually the bare minimum you can actually do this experiment with and actually get accurate results. Yeah, because and then he's finally dropped it down to just a pole at the starting point and a pole at the ending point, removing the center measurement entirely. And he's going to measure it with a tape measure or something like that.
Well, what the fuck is that going to prove?
Line of sight.
Yeah,
that's it.
Which debunks perspective, but that's it.
But this is the level of honest research you're expecting Jeranism to do.
That's stupid.
No, it's having his conclusion and trying to work backwards to make it work.
Right. In other words, you're experimenting to prove instead of experimenting to result.
Right.
And bitch. Anyway, what do you call it? I saw parts of the whole preview experiment and stuff like that, and where he had the buckets with the sticks in them and stuff like that. And I was like, well, where's he going to put those buckets? Because you first have to prove that the ground that it's sitting on is perfectly flat.
Well, we're going to grant him the fact that he's going to use a theodolite. Whether or not he's going to have somebody that actually knows how to operate it or not is a different story. But yeah,
but even with a theodolite is that's kind of where I'm going with this. You have to put the buckets on the ground, right?
Right, but the theodolite does determine where level is, and you can just adjust accordingly.
Right, and in that adjustment, you can make any result you want.
True.
Because we're judging not the height of poles, we're judging the surface of the Earth. So therefore, the measurement would have to be made from whatever measuring point on the stick to the ground. And if it's that area that he showed in the thumbnail, at least, that next to whatever canal or road or whatever it is, yeah, what are you going to do? Measure the fact that, a dirt road is uneven? Oh, yay. I mean, there's no, you can't get results from, even I wouldn't do that to prove me right.
Well, a surveyor did offer their services to actually go out and set everything up for him, but Jeran basically ignored it.
Well, I don't see a way that you could actually get that to produce either result accurately, because of the fact that, like I said, if the buckets are sitting on ground, then it's not going. I mean, like I said, I don't know all of the details, but if the buckets are going to be placed along this road, then first you have to say that the road is measurably perfectly flat. Yeah. And what do you call it? And I don't know how you're going to get that. And if you do get it to be perfectly flat, okay, then you have to show that that is actually a fair representation of the surface of the Earth. I mean, uphill, downhill, crossways, bumps, who cares? it seems to me that, see, I had originally thought, before I saw those pictures of those buckets, I had originally thought that he had found himself a long canal. Okay, now a measurement from water level, that would be something else. You know, a measurement from water level with an accurate way to perform that measurement, that's something else.
Yeah, okay, well, Anthony Riley has very much said that any measurements over water is unusable because of things like electrolysis.
Aha, yeah. And CGI birds.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, I just wanted to show this real quick. Now he went on to start talking about, and yeah, he's bad mouthing me the whole way, and I'm not even gonna give him the credit of playing that, but it's the same thing as it was before. It's just people just bitching. Okay, now he brought up this program. Okay, and now I found the program, and you can also find it on as a Google plugin or a Google Chrome plugin, and this is that thing. Okay, now he said I think he said it took him like a day or two to figure out how it works. Well, it took me all of about 10 minutes. So light source. Okay, now what he wants is, he has a glass here. You use lens and other so you can draw a polygon. And what this does is this makes a simulation of a specific thickness of glass, specific meaning to the shape that you build it at. Okay. Now I can do the same thing in in Algodo, but you know, I'm using his because this is what he used. Now let me take the as seen by observer. Now here's the light source that I made, right? Mm-hmm. Now he he tried to say that. Now this is kind of cool. What it does is it offers you this blue circle is the observer's position. This is where the light source is. Now, if looking through said piece of glass, the observer would see the sun in this case here. Okay, and you can move it all around and stuff like that, and it'll do all these neat things. Okay, but what you'll notice is that it all still points somewhere. Okay, it all still points right about here. Okay, even though the distance increases, it still points to the same place. Okay, and it does bend downwards a little bit, but that is not concurrent with the measurements that were made. Now he lined it up to 1, and he says, "Oh, look, see, it's right where it says it was," and it's not. Okay, it's not. And then, but then the more difficult part of this entire discussion here. Now, one thing that I did not figure out was exactly how to move the polygon once you make it. But what he didn't do is he didn't say. Well, he said somewhere else that the lens that is being discussed is obviously the sun, or the atmosphere.
Right.
And so therefore you're in the atmosphere.
Correct.
Okay. And the sun is not. Okay. Now the sun is above the atmosphere. But if you look at this, it doesn't line up to anything that it was supposed to. Okay. Not at all. Okay. It's all generally looking at the exact same spot. Okay, now I say generally only because of the mere fact that I don't have the sun exactly at the altitude that it would need to be. Now, the other part about this is if the sun, which is almost required by flat Earth, if it's inside of it, well, it's going to be looking right at it. Now, what he wanted to bring up was Kellum's video of the high altitude balloon video. Now we all know that those things come all the way up to the top, up and beyond well, any normal measure of atmosphere. It's up in the real thin air, right? Now what he wanted to say is, now watch what happens once you get high enough in the atmosphere. Bam, it goes right to it, right? Which is true because you're no longer in said lens. Okay, but the transition happens quite sharply. Okay, so you would have to show me, Jeran, a video that shows the transition of inside of said lens to bam, to being out of said lens. Okay. In short, this doesn't help you, man. Okay, and it didn't line up with the lines that were produced by the angles given by all the participants in the test. It didn't line up at all. Okay, not at all. And so yeah, so that was just all a crock of shit. So I learned how to use this. It's a cool tool. Like I said, I didn't go too deep into it, but it seems to be, if anybody's ever messed with Algodo, or previously known as Fun with a PH, this is the same thing as that, with the exception of the fact that this only seems to deal with light, and it's a cool tool. But that's pretty much all there was to say about that. So sorry, Jeran, very bad. And he was trying to say, look, he was going through, and he was saying that he superimposed my thing on there, and he said that it had lined up perfectly, which it didn't. See, first he raises the atmosphere to almost the 5,000 K level,
right?
And then at one point he actually lowered it, and no, it doesn't line up with all those lines. Okay, it doesn't, because the ones here were actually going up. Okay, so deal with that, Jeran. Now, he went on a little bit more here. First he wanted to, let's see, hold on, where is it? Now he goes on to my channel. Right, he goes over here and he goes on to my channel, and I gotta mute this because only I can hear it right now. And he brings up my channel, and then he starts talking about me being obsessed. I'm obsessed with Jeranism. No, I'm not obsessed with Jeranism. I have made plenty of videos about Jeranism, but what I do is I address the claims that he makes. Okay, I address the claims that, you know, whatever just kind of tickled me that day. And what do you call it? And he gets all mad. Now, of all the things, now mind you, I also have videos in here about Antonio Subarats, Anthony Riley, and various other idiots. And what do you call it? Who have come forth with apparent claims and apparent proof, and have still not proved anything other than the globe. Oh yeah, and the John Savage thing. And but the only ones that he points out when he's scrolling through my stuff are the stuff that talks about him or Globebusters. So what's he doing? He's basically covering his ass.
Yep.
Okay, that's all he's doing. So he wanted to point out all these things. Okay, now and then he called me. I'm a quote unquote, I'm a dirtbag. Okay, according to Jeranism, I'm a dirtbag because of the fact that I invited them to come talk, meaning Globebusters and Jeran. I got to remember what it was that I needed, that they wanted to talk. Oh yeah, I had invited them because they were calling me a liar about the Skiba video about the Skiba balloon. Okay.
Right.
And so and because of the wordplay that was going on there, I told them, I said, well, you know, come on over and talk. Now, of course, nobody showed up, and Morgile made the absurd claim of, oh, yeah, well, I didn't show up and all this. They were complaining about the fact that I only gave them, I think, 24 or 48 hours or something like that.
Yeah, didn't you do another one that gave them more time?
Well, I left an open invitation for them and all that, but that was just so that they would do the Eratosthenes experiment with flat earthers, and I would do all the legwork for them of putting it all together on a computer. But well, we all know what Bob said about that. And but it was just you know, it was all this, but you know, what's his name? Morgile comes back and says, oh well, how come you weren't at my wedding that I didn't invite you to? You know, however long ago. And I'm like, really, is that your argument? You know, is that really your argument? Because that's just like, that is the level of rationale that these flat earthers have. Okay, but he says that I'm obsessed. Okay, well, let's talk about obsessed here for a second. Okay, now Jeranism has one. That's Jeranism Raw. That's Jeranism's channel. That's Jeranism's Globebusters. Yes, it's Jeranism's because everybody has an email address at Jeranism. Okay, and then here is his repository. Okay, where he puts some of his videos, to include the one where he decided to say that me, Daz, and Wolfie worship pedophiles. And all this. Of course, I'm not supposed to, have anything to say about that. Kiss my ass. But anyway, he's got all those. Well, counting all those up, now all of these are copies. Nothing in here is original in this particular one, this Bronco Sims thing. But in these three alone, now I don't know if he's got any more. Now I know he goes up on Twitter. I know he goes up on Facebook. So maybe he's even got more shit. But the number comes out to 494, just short of 500 videos, and he calls me obsessed. Okay. Now, all of his videos are basically they lie videos. None, not one of his videos has experimental proof to back up any of his claims. Now he says, oh, well, I always allow myself to be wrong. I can be wrong. Yeah, but you got to be right, too, to go down this road. Okay? There's not one thing in all of Jeranism's videos, in all of Globebusters' videos, okay, or all of the Jeranism Raw things, okay? Not one thing in here has he provided one single proof of the Earth being flat, other than they lie.
Well, just to give a shout out again, this is the same situation where he wanted to debate Reds until he found out what the format of the debate was, and then he found every excuse possible under the sun to not have the debate.
I seem to remember that.
The format was simple. They were going to, Reds was going to bring proof that it's a globe. Jeran was supposed to bring proof that it was a flat Earth. As soon as Jeran found out the whole format of the debate, when he came up with the whole, well, I'll only debate Reds if he shows his face. So that was just his way of saying, I have no proof of flat Earth.
My God. Well, here's the thing, man. Let's talk about faces for a second. Now, I wasn't prepared to go there, but hold on a second here. Let's talk about faces for a second. Here's a good example of why putting faces on your videos might not be such the line of credibility that they seem to think. Hold on a second here, because I love that, it lends credibility to your thing, and we can see who you are, not that you're some robot or whatever the bullshit excuses are. There's about 5,000 reasons why they brought it up. I mean, that's like Antonio Subarat's calling card is, because I can't see your face, you must not be real, and all this shit. But here's a good example of why it's probably not the best idea to actually have your face up on a video. Now, hold on, I'm queuing it up here. Yeah, come on. Oh, okay, I went too far. My bad. Here's a good reason. This is D Marble's face.
That's a close son, man. Look at the hot spot.
Yep. Decent looking dude, right? Well spoken, sounds like. Looking for a way to get laid out of that van. And showing his face debunked one of his primary claims of a close son. Because here's his hot spot. And I guarantee you that the sun was not in that parking lot. Okay? I mean, who cares about a face? Now, I've seen John's face. Okay? But does that, what does that lend to the credibility of words or experimentation? Nothing.
Yeah, the only time I ever had my camera on is pretty much for entertainment value.
Yeah. And what do you call it? Hell, I even got caught up on one of Riley's videos. Oops. But that was because I was walking and talking. And but it does nothing for the video. It does nothing for the information. It does nothing for the credibility or discredibility. Is that a word? It does nothing for it. So who gives a shit? And if I were to turn around and demand of everybody who puts a comment on my videos that I see their face, otherwise their shit ain't real, how many of those people would you tell? How many those people you think would tell me that it's irrelevant? You know, I'm talking about flat earthers here. You know, if every time somebody came up and said, "Oh, well, you know, the sun's not 93 million miles away, and da 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 da, we're not spinning through space," and all that shit, you know, if I turned around and I say, "Well, your words don't mean anything because I can't see your face," how many of those people do you think would come back to me and tell me to go fuck myself?
Pretty much all of them.
You know, I mean, it's that simple. And let's see, but since we're talking about the videos that I have made about young Jeran, okay, let's talk about the.
You had a comment from chat saying that Zemborato, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering your name, says he loves your flat, hard voice. I thought it sounded like Kermit the Frog.
Well, I've always tried to be Marvin the Martian sometimes, but where's the kaboom?
That's better.
But there's supposed to be a large, earth-shattering kaboom. But anyway, back to the point. So I'm obsessed with Jeranism. Okay, so let's go through these then. First of all, Jeranism's claim that the Jeranism's claim that all spacewalks are filmed in a pool at NASA or somewhere secluded, of course, and all this. Well, Jeranism, you know that's not true. That's why you won't address this video of showing why it is that the head shrinks due to refraction inside of inside of the helmet because of the curved face of the helmet and the air inside versus the medium of the water outside. It shrinks the head. Now, Jeranism's probably got about 20. I'm just estimating, probably about 20. Maybe it's more like 10. I don't know. Videos, long videos, waiting to see bubbles, and this is all filmed in water and all this other stuff. Dude, it's not even possible. Okay, it's really not even possible to go to that level of detail to cover that up. It's really not. Okay, because you have the optics. Look in the background here. As something gets further away, it changes color, and no bit of lighting is going to do anything for that. Okay, it has to do with the fact that you have water between point A and point B. Okay, there are no bubbles in space. Okay, and if you turn around and you answer that everything is CGI, then why would the said bubbles be there in the first place? Okay, it's just that simple. Okay, so Jeranism. This is for my son here. Jeranism. These the spacewalks aren't faked, and you know that.
Did Jeran ever address the Russian video that they actually took a 360 camera out on a spacewalk?
Well, shit, there was a GoPro video not too long ago. Some guy, some astronaut it was labeled for GoPro at least. He turned the camera all over the place. Yeah, where's the wires? Where's the wall? Yeah. The pool?
I mean, one of the things Jeran's always saying is, why don't they turn the camera around to look at the space station or 360 view? Well, the Russians actually took a 360 camera out on a spacewalk, and he just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, they do it all. If you watch the videos enough times, or enough of the videos, excuse me, you'll see plenty of times where the camera gets turned around, and I mean, there are points that you just can't even fake. Okay, and if you have that much lighting going on inside of the pool, okay, there's also a reflection that happens on the underside of the surface. Okay, it makes those cool wavy lines that we all like to see, and all this. You wouldn't. There's no way you could avoid that. Okay, so Jeranism, they're not filmed in a pool, and you know it. Okay, next video. This was the first invitational and I was waiting, because this is when Jeran Jeran couldn't even get the direction right at Troll Station about where the sun was going on, and he also had, unless I'm mistaken, he also had the wrong date. But he was claiming that some glares in the footage were the sun going somewhere else besides where it was supposed to go in the heliocentric model. Here's the joke: what he was looking at was the moon. So of course it wasn't where it was supposed to be, because it was the moon. Did Jeran ever answer that? This right here, this is the moon. How do you know it's the moon? Because all the lights are on the station. Okay, this is the moon, and it kind of went like this, and then later on in the video, at another hour or something like that later, or 2 hours later, it got really bright over here, which is where actually the sun was coming up. And that's because Jeran couldn't tell north, south, east, or west, or even orient his camera on Google Earth to the direction that it was supposed to be. So Jeran, the footage that you used and your analysis was wrong, and you know it. Okay? Catching a theme here, and you know it.
I will be back in just a minute. I got to step downstairs for a minute.
Sure, no problem, bro. So, another video that I did for Jeranism. This was the invitation to Skiba and the Globetrotters, or Globetrotters, excuse me, Globebusters, that I had put out, and what do you call it? And I was saying that, come on by, we'll talk about Skiba's balloon footage, because Skiba had said I was wrong, and Globebusters called me a liar. And I asked them to come on over. Well, did they come over? Of course not. So, you know that Skiba's balloon showed not only curvature of the Earth, but also curved water, by coincidence, in the form of Lake Erie. Okay? Simple. So, his footage showed a curved Earth, and you know it. Okay? So here's another thing I made about Jeranism. Jeranism went out to the Canigou Mountain, or went to the footage of a really cool occurrence about being able to see, because of refraction, low on the horizon. That's where it's supposed to work. Okay? If you don't believe me, watch Dang Joss's video. Okay? Has to do with air densities and temperatures and all that neat stuff. Okay? About being able to see the peaks of Canigou from on the other side of this kind of somewhat gulf here of the Mediterranean in France. What Darren refuses to acknowledge, and I know he's watched this, okay, what he refuses to acknowledge is the fact that he's missing the whole rest of the damn mountain. Okay? So Jeran, you also know this shows curvature of the Earth, and you know it. Okay? So, let's see. This was the whole Star Trails debacle that Jeran put out. Jeran put out that Star Trails can't be reenacted, or something similar to that. I'm not going to quote words because I don't have them all in my head. But he said that it couldn't be proved that Star Trails were the result of a camera being on a spinning object. And what I did was I went out and I put a camera on a bicycle wheel, rotated around to lights that were way down in a town below this field, and I produced Star Trails. Hold on a second. I produced Star Trails, 3 different ones at 3 different angles, having the camera at 3 different angles, and he said that you wouldn't be able to focus on Polaris on a globe. So.
Okay, I'm back.
Yep. And I showed you this. Wolfie showed you another version. He actually reenacted your horrible experiment that you blamed on your globe, of all things. Hell, the globe I had that I did it with the laser pointer, hell, that thing was that thing's a little piggy bank. It doesn't matter. Okay? Setting up your experiment correctly matters. Okay? So ultimately, yes, Star Trails are the result of the camera being on a rotating surface. And you know it, because if it wasn't, then if it was because of stars up on a dome, then this is what star trails would look like.
Yep.
Unless you were directly at the North Pole. And nobody cares what you think that, what anybody thinks that the stars are made of, okay? Or what they actually are. What they actually are is in the sky, okay? Who cares if it's made of, if they're balls of gas or if they're, I don't know, just balls, okay? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all, okay? And you know it. This right here is how that would look. Period. If it was on a dome, or at least in a dome inside of something close and rotating, okay? And you can't say they're all not the same height on the flat Earth side of it, because of the fact that there is no parallax distortion between them as that rotation takes place. Okay, none of them moving faster than the other ones, or at least not at any level that we can detect. But it would be very obvious if it were, and that would be to anybody. Okay, star trails around. That's due to being on a rotating platform, in this case, the rotating Earth, and it makes star trails in perfect circles. Period. So next thing, let's see. This was this was my my response to having a laser pointer on a globe. Yes, Wolfie's was better, but I just, instead of worrying about the orientation of my string, I hung the piggy bank from a string. And look, laser pointer pointed straight the way it was supposed to. Jeran's didn't work, and you can actually follow and trace the line that he did, because the rotational axis of his globe was not in line with the string. The string was actually off to the side. Okay, he deliberately did that wrong so that it wouldn't line up.
Right.
Deliberately. There is no other way to say that. He deliberately did that, because anybody, and I analyzed it just from his footage with PowerPoint. Okay. And so there's nothing more to say on that. So you lied about your Polaris experiment, Jeran, and you know it. Okay? You know you did. You can blame it on whatever you want. Oh, my globe shifts and stuff like that, and I threw that globe away. No, your globe doesn't shift. If it's on an axle, it's just going to rotate. That's all it's going to do. So deal with that. Now let's see. This was Can't Science. Which one was this? Oh, this was me actually analyzing his globe that he said was the reason why it didn't work and all this other stuff. And I showed it quite clearly that his string is way the hell off from the axis of the globe itself. Way the hell off. And that's why everything went off to the right. Had nothing to do with you can't focus, you can't point a laser pointer at the at Polaris, or thereby focus a camera on Polaris on a rotating platform such as the Earth. Okay, had nothing to do with that.
Well,
had to do with the fact that he screwed his test.
I'm going to address something in chat. As I see the world, he said he showed it shifted. Well, that's actually, he did that after the fact, after everybody else pointed out that his thing wasn't lined up right.
Yep.
Because in his demonstration, there is no sudden shift in where the laser is pointing. It makes a perfect arc. So it wasn't a shifting issue.
It made a perfect arc off to the right. And it had nothing to do with shifting, or his globe was somehow. How can you have a defective globe? I mean, all it is it's a ball with a stick through it. Okay, now I would understand if it just kind of, it kind of bounced around at one point. Okay, I can understand that. Maybe the hole was bigger than the axis or something like that. That's fine. Okay, but you would also be able to see that. So, so, Jeran, you lied about this, and then you tried to make it into some kind of a point, which was easily debunked by myself, Wolfie, and actually probably about 10 others. Okay, because actually when I went looking for Wolfie's thing, I actually found so many other people who had actually responded to it. So yeah, that one was easily dropped. Okay, but you know, Jeran will say, "Well, I can say that I'm wrong," and all this. Yeah, but you got to be right first. Okay, before you get something wrong like that. Okay, now this was this was Jeranism Can't Star Trail. He tried to say that he got on that whole bandwagon about the hemispheric piece of glass. And he actually did his own version of it where he put it up on a laptop screen. And I was a little mad when I saw that, because I was actually going to do this for the guy who actually did the first experiment on this, and he was doing it over a piece of paper. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to put it up on my laptop screen. But then Jeranism beat me to that with I think a tablet or something. And but didn't matter. I was actually able to show it. And what I did was these were stars, and I colored them on purpose so you could see directions. You could see what lines were being looked at and stuff like that. It wasn't because I think the stars looked like these colors, but I wanted to be able to know what it was that I was looking at. And what I did was I made it so that it rotates, you know, and then I put my lens right on here and watched it go around, and it wasn't making a circle in that direction. It was splitting. And what's kind of funny is that might seem like some kind of magic or something like that. That's just refraction, because when I put it into 3ds Max, under the exact same conditions, it did the exact same thing. So it's just basic mathematical refraction. That's it. Okay. So this didn't work either, Jeran, at all. And you know it. Okay. You know it didn't. So now he got mad about Glowbusters mirrored John Savage's what do you call it, tests, his gyroscope tests, and all this. And Bob wouldn't even acknowledge the fact that John even admitted to him that, or admitted on his video, that he lied to Bob about how much lighter the thing was. He had said that it was a full 25 grams lighter and all this, and then found out it was actually only about, like, what was it? It was like 8, 9, something like that, and all this, because he was using a kitchen scale, a mechanical kitchen scale that only had units of 25 grams, or something very similar to that. But nevertheless. And Bob turned around and he was boasting. He's like, yeah, he says it's a full 25 grams lighter and stuff like that, or whatever it was. And but it was so off. And it turns out that I was closer to the actual weight than what he had told Glowbusters. And I did that just by estimating, given the equipment that was involved. And but you know, Jeran got all mad about that. You know, Jeran doesn't like the fact that I was poking at Glowbusters. Well, deal with it, Jeran. That thing proved absolutely nothing, because of the friction that even the manufacturer said was too high to test the sensitivity, or for the sensitivity of the rotation of the Earth.
Well, were you aware that Glowbusters did a ring laser gyro test for $25,000?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, they actually got crowdfunded a ring laser gyro.
Okay.
$25,000 from subscribers that they paid money to have them get this piece of equipment. And it actually showed a 15 degree per hour rotation of the Earth. And now and then they went back to the aether. It's just the aether moving around the Earth.
Really? I honestly I didn't catch that, but I'm gonna.
$25,000 they scammed out of their subscribers just to prove that the Earth is indeed rotating.
Kind of looking like BOB's satellite, isn't it?
And you know what they're going to do with that ring laser gyro, don't you? They're going to eBay it off, make a profit,
or maybe just return to sender and get all the money back.
That is true.
I mean, it's not like it's software.
Yeah.
You know?
So all of you people who follow these people and give them money freely, congratulations, you just made them $25,000 richer, and they're going to split it 3 ways.
3 ways. Because I'll bet you, what's his name? Well, actually, I I mean, it's not like I watch this thing every time, but I haven't seen like Antonio or anybody there on Glowbusters again recently, but who knows? So Ring Laser Gyro 25 Gs from their subscribers, and they probably just sold it back.
Probably.
Stupid people, man. Anyway, let's see. That was me explaining that the gyro thing went like that.
Requiem for a Dream in the chat. LOL, Glowbuster's note on sending it back did not work and is defective. Prove Earth is rotating.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Well done, Requiem.
Hey, buddy boy, / on the level / copy of Wide Awake. Dude, show curving water. Okay, you were the one who specifically said that there is curvature in Rob Skiba's video, and you said that is because that is the edge of the disc. Without, because your superior analytical knowledge and capabilities and prowess didn't realize that you were saying that the edge of the disc was Lake Erie.
Way to go, buddy.
Okay, so according to you, Lake Erie is the edge of the world. So sorry about that, Canada, but Buddy Boy says you don't exist. Anyway, another video I made about Jeran. Yeah, this was my dear Jeran. I made this one in my car. Okay, and that was during my lunch break. And the reason why I did this one is because that was in response to Jeran saying that I worshipped and adored pedophiles. And yes, I did go off on him on that one. Okay, because of the fact that, like I said, you could sit here and say all you want about you can call me a liar, but you'll never prove it. You could say you're right, but you'll never prove that. You could say I eat babies. Good luck on that one. And all this. But when you start talking about real things, okay, that means that you are desperate to discredit somebody, desperate to do it. That's what your whole rant on your channel was. You were desperate to discredit somebody because people were actually seeing that you guys will not perform a simple test. Doesn't even cost you money, and much less cost your subscribers money. Okay, because you won't even perform a test. Okay, so you make desperate claims to discredit people like myself, Reds, Sean, Daza, Wolfie, anybody else. Okay, 5 Red Pairs, Soundly, Dang Joss. Okay,
Well,
you would so much. What's that?
Apparently, Jeran's not so upset with me and Reds because he actually called us both out in that video that he just put up.
Yeah,
but he refuses to call you out by name.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, you made him more mad than me or Reds ever did.
Well, I don't know about that, and I'm not scoring points. See, I do this as a hobby. Okay, and yes, I did say that before Red did. Suck on it, Red. I do this as a hobby. It started out because I was recovering from surgery, and had a lot of time on my hands, and I just tripped over it after watching a video of rockets don't work in space, which was that dude who had the balloon and the preschool car in his basement, and and then I found out that I saw a video that said the Earth is flat. I also saw the Earth is hollow. I saw the Earth is concave and all that other neato shit too. But Earth is flat just for some reason just intrigued me because that was an actual belief among mankind, no matter how long ago it was. And so I was like, all right, let's see what they got and all this, and it became a hobby of debunking these claims. And quite honestly, I debunked the entire claim in my first video. Okay, but y'all won't acknowledge that. I brought up all the points that do not work in flat Earth. But you know, since Jeran likes to talk about my sub count, yes, he brought that up too.
Oh boy.
You know, if that's all you got, Jeran, then you know you're making yourself look bad just by doing this little schoolhouse thing. I realize it makes you look good to your subscribers, okay, because most of your subscribers are that level of maturity, okay. But until you prove some tests, okay, and you actually back up your mouth, okay, and quit running from people like me, okay, until you actually back something up, you got nothing, okay. And the reason why you see that I make videos of yours responding to your stuff as well as to others is because I put out the information as it is tested, okay, not as it is claimed, but as it is tested. You said, well, you know, I don't need to listen to Sly Sparkane because of the fact that all he's telling me is what's in the book. You want to tell me that any of this shit was ever found in a book?
I'd like to see that book.
Yeah, I mean, really, point to me a book where it says that there's no refraction in the atmosphere. Point to me a book that you know, I mean, any of this stuff. Okay, point to me a book that that answers the question of this is my favorite flat Earth claim. Rivers don't run uphill. Okay, what's uphill? Well, the sun's not 93 million miles away. You know, I mean, show me a book that actually says how you're supposed to answer that shit. Okay, sure, I use numbers. Wow, that's kind of tough, but you know, so kiss my ass, Jeran, really. And oh, and by the way, I'm not going to pull a Bob or a Morgul wishing somebody dead. Of course, I don't do that, you know, because, gee, you know, what does that prove? Wow, that just shows that you wish I was dead so I would stop telling people what full of shit you are. Okay.
From the chat, Free Time asks, how much you all make off the idiots of the ball Earth / flat Earth?
Well, actually, my numbers did go up.
I'm actually up to $43 since February. So I have not seen a check from YouTube yet. They don't pay out until you break that $100 limit.
Yeah. And I finally, after 2 years of doing this stuff, I finally broke the $100 limit. I haven't seen a check yet, but I broke the $100 limit. Okay.
Yeah, so
but
if you're on the globe side, there is really no money involved.
No, because you don't make money off of telling people what they already know. Okay, this is actually only about disproving the claims of flat earthers, and the average rational person doesn't really give a shit about that.
I just monetized my channel for the simple fact you got better analytics on what's going on with your videos on a per video basis.
Yeah, that part's true.
That's the only reason why I monetized.
Now Jeran also claimed that this was in a book, which, well, I'm sure it is, but he won't address it. Jeran's also one of those people who believes that umbra and penumbra don't exist at the same time as straight light. And
now, isn't he showing umbra and penumbra right there?
No, that's me. This is all me. Of course he didn't. Well, damn! I just realized the depth of what you just said, man. Do you think that Jeran actually performed a test on this?
Of course not.
All right, I just wanted to check your head, man. I know it's Friday. Maybe you've been drinking. But no, of course, Jeran didn't perform any test. All he does is show these diagrams and say, it doesn't work like that. But then I turn around, explain in great detail exactly how it does work. Okay? In great detail.
You've actually done a few videos on that.
I've done about 3 now. Well, no, 4, because there was that guy, We Are All Experiments or something like that, way back when. And I actually went into some really in-depth 3D graphics, and I also showed I debunked the whole claim with a pen and a baseball. So you know, and oh, and by the way, the in this particular imagery here, hold on, let me get it back to full eclipse here. That light there is about 1 meter high. And the ball that's in my hand here is only about 10 centimeters. Okay,
perspective.
Yeah, so much for saying that, oh, well, you know, a smaller object can't block a larger object. Bullshit. Okay, this was only about half arm's length away from me. So anyway, and then I showed how umbra and penumbra work at different distances, but it doesn't change the size and all this other neato stuff. And then I went into about the parallel. Anyway, stuff that Jeran will never do, ever. So Jeran, you know that umbra and penumbra work. You know it does. That's why you won't show that it doesn't. Okay, and then yeah, I put this little thing out. This was just answering one of his silly trailers about, you know, we were all told to learn, you know, lies and all this. And I'm not going to go into all the little comments that I made here, but you know, they're pretty straight up comments. You know, about how things just don't disappear from the bottom up, and then also about oh, gravity was in there and all kinds of wacky shit. So in short, that's it. Okay. Now, yes, I have all of these videos. They're all mine. Okay. Every one of them I've made, whether in response to something or creating something. I know that's. And what do you call it? So there's nothing that can be. I have not gotten one. There was one critique that that Jeran made, and you know what? Up until this point, I had never even noticed it myself. Okay, but it caused me to go back to the folder and actually check out what it was that I was doing. Over a year ago, I made this video. Okay, and what do you call it? And oh shit, yeah, that was back in the days when I actually liked my own video to make it feel like it was doing something. What do you call it? But I had shown a very simple way, and you know, first of all, Jeran thinks that timeanddate.com is SunCalc. What do you call it? Because he said that. What do you call it? I'd shown a simple way, and it's just, you know, it's not very difficult. It's researching, just grabbing the numbers, adding them together, and then one of them you divide by 2. Okay. And he said, you know, that's not very simple and all this other stuff. Really, Jeran? Really? I mean, is math that mean to you? And then I showed a simple way. Now, this is where I screwed up. I never even noticed this until Jeran actually pointed it out. Okay, so I'm going to give him 1 point here. I had accidentally written here diameter 40,000 kilometers, when in fact, obviously, it's circumference. Now, when I went through and I went back to the folder and I looked, the measurements that I did were with a circumference because I had to get pi out of it for this. Okay, and that was why I had 40,057 on the brain, or yeah, on the brain. Had nothing to do with me screwing up the math. I typed in diameter instead of circumference, and but all the math worked out just fine. And in this particular example, okay, with the rough, you know, only one number behind the decimal point angles, okay, I was able to get the sun at over 1 million miles, or 1 million kilometers away. Now, something else that I had pointed out in here as well. Where did I put it in here? Yeah. What you need to know though is just a 0.02 degree difference on this, because I tried to find out if I can get a round number on that. A 0.02 degree difference in these things would have meant a difference of 3 million kilometers further away. Okay, but now all these, you know, SunCalc does go a little bit deeper, but I was using timeanddate.com because at that time I wasn't using SunCalc because the interface used to be bad, and at the time that I made this video, and so I was using single decimals, and so therefore obviously my distance was a lot closer than 93, of course. But yeah, it's just it's crazy easy how easy this stuff is. But you also need to know, Jeran, that doing mathematics like this to get the distance of the sun, you first have to know what shape the Earth is. Okay. This is the classes after you get past flat Earth. Okay. Once you realize that the Earth is round, and all the measurements and everything else that concurs with every observation, with every measurement, with every test. Okay. Once you realize that, then you can start judging the actual distance to the sun. Okay. But if you don't know what the hell you're standing on, then you ain't gonna know anything. Okay. You're just really not. Okay. So this works, and you know it. So you bringing that up is just another piece of butthurt that doesn't support your claim, man. It just really doesn't. So as far as all this goes, Jeran, I really don't care what you say. Okay, you don't see me being offended. Okay, you don't see me call. I mean, I can call you a liar. Okay, because you make claims that you refuse to substantiate. Absolutely refuse to substantiate. Okay, I think there was even one time where you said that you had a balloon and it got shot down and all this because somebody didn't want you to know the truth. Dude, come on, man. What you did was you actually had a balloon, or you set something up with a bunch of expensive hardware, and then probably just pocketed the hardware like you do with all the rest of your donations. Okay. But so to be honest with you, man, I'm more about the facts. Okay. I will follow facts as they lead me. Okay. Facts will lead you to anything you need to know. Okay. Facts, they're not, I used to like to say the truth hurts, but facts leave an exit wound. Okay. Until you produce facts, you will always find me or somebody else like me who's there to show you, not tell you, show you that you are wrong. Okay. Now you say you don't have a problem being wrong. That's something I normally, that would be something admirable. Okay. But I know you don't mean that. Okay. You use that as your get out of jail free card, or maybe in this case, get out of bullshit free card. Okay. That's what you use this for. You say, I could be wrong, which means that as soon as somebody comes along and points out exactly why you're wrong about one of your claims that you were so right about a minute ago, because everybody lies. Sorry, dude. It's you use that to make you look good, when in fact it's just covering your ass for when you look bad. Okay. I would like to see you produce any kind of proof of the flat earth. Okay. Proof of it. Not proof, or not claims of lies. Okay. If you want to talk about government conspiracies and all that other shit, man, there's probably plenty of them. Okay. And I've said this enough times. There's probably plenty of them. Okay. And those are intriguing discussions. Okay. But not science, dude. Science don't work like that. Science is not subjective. Science is objective. Science can be tested, retested, checked, peer-reviewed, put up on YouTube so other people can see it, retested by people with nothing better to do with their time, okay, and still be shown to have the exact same results. Okay. Claims like yours, claims like Globebusters, claims like ODD, claims like Morgile and Captain Obvious and all these other idiots. Okay. Yes, I said idiots. The reason why I'm saying idiots is because anybody who believes something without proof, in my mind, is an idiot. Okay. And I don't mean idiot as an insult. I mean idiot as the adjective. Okay. It is a descriptive word to show somebody who just does not get it. Okay. So, Jeran, until you actually produce something that even raises an eyebrow in my camp at least. Yeah. Any comments you make my direction, okay, and I don't care what you think about me. I really don't. Okay. Any comments you make in my direction are nothing more than hot air, which, by way of buoyancy caused by gravity, rises and then just dissipates. Okay?
Yeah. Jeran's always a fun one.
So, anyway, ladies and gents, it is now, well, it's 10:48 my time at night, and so I gotta go take the dog out. I appreciate everybody stopping by. It looks like I almost hit 1,000 viewers, or 100 viewers. Almost had some alternate facts there. What do you call it? And I appreciate everybody stopping by. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the content of this. And Jeran, I'm free Sunday if you want to talk about anything. But if you want to keep on hiding behind the fact that I'm just a dishonest liar without any substance to that particular claim, well, that's fine. Okay, I don't hate you for it. Okay, if I was being called out on bullshit with actual factual proof, I probably wouldn't want to talk to the person calling me out anyway. But I'll leave that up to you. But if you want to talk, I'm available on Sunday. I know, short notice. Can't really move your busy schedule. But it's Sunday, so maybe if you actually felt like trying to prove something, or at least prove that I've been dishonest somewhere, which is also your claim. Ladies and gents, Sean, I very much appreciate you hanging out with me tonight.
It's always fun.
And Jeran, the Earth's a globe. One for my young, and you know it.
You want to take a look at my screen there for a second?
What you got there? Hold on a second. Present to everyone.
For all of the nerds in the audience.
Screen cap. Everybody who's got Windows 10, hit the Windows button and print screen. You can read it later. So, ladies and gents, y'all have yourselves a nice evening.